Rolling. All right. Let's put this here. Boom, boom, boom. We ready?
We're ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the first ever episode of Working Title, Beaches and Taxes. What does that mean to you at the moment, right now?
Okay, so I like the beaches part because it's specific to South Florida, and I like the taxes part because it kind of like draws you into the government aspect of our podcast. So beaches and taxes is like, you know, like the Venn diagram. It's like South Florida's government.
Okay. And the government part of our podcast. That sounds so boring. But before we get into that,
right,
I want to introduce ourselves. Who are you and why are you here today?
My name is Chantel Jairam. I'm here today to help, to create a call to action to people our age and who live and work in Fort Lauderdale that they need to be more involved in their community, or give them reasons to be involved in their community and take that where they will. Yeah. I'm
Patrick, and I'm a local real estate agent here in South Florida. And I'm very interested in the government and very interested in where our tax dollars are being spent, how they're being spent. And I mean, these city commission meetings that you attend yourself, Chantel.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about those and why they might be important and why our listeners might be interested in it to some degree.
So these meetings are actually just as boring as they sound, to be quite honest with you. They're long, they're detail oriented, they are sometimes nitpicky of like what's going on in the city, but they affect you more than like anything that happens on a federal or state level. It's like, are traffic lanes going to be widened or decreased? What buildings are going up where? How much housing is going to be available? It's like, these are the things that happen at city commission meetings. And there's like, these decisions have incorporate more input from the public than you think. So to not be a voice in that room is to the detriment to yourself and to your community.
With that, what does being a voice do? Like, why should I, never mind go, but just be interested? Like I don't know if I even went or cared, would my voice be heard?
Right.
What, like, I guess you're in the room. Could you speak a little bit to that?
You know, it's like the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Like, let me tell you, like, how one voice can affect a city commission. I went to this one meeting where it's a guy from California, bought a condo on the water, I think one of the canals or whatever. He had this boat dock so I think in Fort Lauderdale, let's call it 14 feet. Your boat dock can go out 14 feet. He was like, I need a variance because I want my boat dock to be 16 feet. And the commission's like, could you just make it 2 feet less? Like, would it kill you? And he's like, no, I need it to be 18 feet. And they're like, okay. So in order for us to give you the variance, the other side of the canal needs to be a certain amount of distance from the end of your dock to make sure there's enough clearance for the boats going through. And he went back home, got a survey done, and was like, okay, according to these lot lines, there is enough distance. And he brought the survey. So if you've never seen a survey, it's like a Google Maps image and then lines are drawn on it. He's like, look, there's plenty of room. But his line was on like the property on the other side. His line was on the lot line, but there was a seawall jutting out after the line. And they're like, the commission's like, well, there's not technically enough space because there is this seawall there. It looks like an illegal seawall or one that wasn't constructed properly, but it's there. And he's like, yeah, that's not my problem. So the commission's like, so you want us to go to the property owner and say, hey, move your seawall so you can have a dock that's 2 feet longer. Mind you, this is a floating dock. It's not even like a drilled into the ground dock. And he's like,
it's a couple more, 8 more planks of wood.
He's like, yeah, that's what I want you to do. And the commission, I'll be quite honest with you, it was 9 p.m. I could not be bothered with this guy's dock issue, so I left. But they devoted, like city officials devoted time to this man's problem, and that's one voice does matter in this city.
Okay, that is quite the pickle.
It was wild.
Okay.
Wild to behold.
Wild city commission meetings.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I guess we touched a little bit about why we're here. What do we really hope to come out of this?
I hope, one, to make our local issues interesting. I feel like if you make it monotonous and people don't like get interested, it decreases participation. I want people to find something that they're interested in and just do more with it. The more participation you have, the more community you build, the more you love where you live, the more things. I don't know. I think the more voices you have, the better things go. I think when you have too many singular voices, it just goes one way, and everyone hates it. It makes things not great. Does that touch you?
It sums up in the sense of involvement and people being aware. I think there's a lot of, young professionals or the future of Fort Lauderdale that they rent here.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of rental buildings in Flagler, a ton of people our age that rent. And I think if they're planting roots here, they're going to want to eventually own.
Yeah.
And owning in this town and even renting, all of it is you're contributing in a taxed way.
Yeah.
You're getting taxed. Where's your tax dollars being spent? How are they being spent?
Yeah.
Is there common sense behind them? And I think there are some hot button issues that are going to be pretty interesting to get into here.
Yeah.
I think with the limited information, because I don't claim to know much, but I know that I'm happy to ask some questions, give some inference of what maybe the less than knowledgeable community of Fort Lauderdale may represent from there. I may be representative of them.
Yep.
But I know there's some hot button issues. I mean, on this city commission meeting, that was on September 30th,
yes.
Correct? So what happened there? Mayor Dean talked a little bit. What was that about?
So it's actually, if you've ever watched the State of the Union for our country, it's like this big pep rally extravaganza. We have a local one here in Fort Lauderdale. I didn't know about this. So when you say like the mayor talk, like the mayor had like screens behind him, gigantic screens, and he had like the color guard. It was like a thing. Yeah, he talked.
Did he have like a black turtleneck? This year.
Honestly, it would have been a better look. He gives a speech once a year, and it's kind of it's always like optimistic and positive about how we're moving forward and what the commission's focused on. And you walk away feeling really good about the city, but at the same time, when you live there, we live here. You're not like, you see you see the problem. So you're kind of like, okay, well, I love that we're talking about the beach getting all this development money and things becoming bright. There's more parks, but like, what about homelessness? Like, what about like rent going up? Across the board for everyone, like what are we doing with those issues? And I'm not attempting to say like every topic can be covered at this one meeting, but I feel like there could be a qualitative statement in there that's missing.
A qualitative statement. Such what would your qualitative statement?
So he did this wonderful. So one of the problems we have here, one of the challenges we have here in Fort Lauderdale is homelessness. Like. You see them in the streets. Sometimes there's negative interactions, but so the city has this agenda that it's a compassionate but firm stance on homelessness. So the mayor brought out these three lovely men who've graduated from our community court program. We can get into that later, but they graduated from community court program. You see them on their way up in life. Things are turning around. Great. What about these interactions we're still having? Like, I was followed home by a homeless person 2 days ago. What are we doing about, like, we can't pretend like this is a be all end all. Like, where is the statement? It's like, hey, we have things to work on and we're still deliberating on like the remainder of the issue. Like things like that. Yeah.
Okay. I think like even attributing some episodes to just those topics could be really cool.
Totally.
I think that's part of our context here. Mm-hmm. But I guess on a broader stroke, do we want what else do we want to cover just to bring out like what expectations should our audience be getting as they're coming here and listening?
What's their expectation? I think they should expect a digestible local I don't want to say news because I hate the word news. It sounds so boring. It's like information, like something that resource. Let's go with that. And I also don't want to say like I feel like this stuff can get really quickly like this is altruism, like volunteer. No, this is important stuff. Like this is like how like. What's going to happen to your local restaurant in the sense of like what ordinances are going to be put on them or what pressures are going to be put on them or like what like seasonal variance and populations going to be put on them, and it's like, how is your job going to be affected? You know, like I work for a large business, I work for an insurance company. It's quite large. We're not affected by any kind of seasonality in this market. But like this is a lot of people here have seasonal jobs. Like what's going to happen to them? Like what is the city doing to prevent seasonality, to make summers more appealing? So the bulk of our, I guess, like revenue isn't generated just in the winter months. Stuff like that. It's come here expecting something to be relevant to you on a direct level.
I think from the homeless perspective, from the hot button issues such as the pickleball courts and basketball courts on the beach. I know, those are just a couple of like broad stroke topics that we want to dive into in some later episodes here. But I think this kind of covers who, what, why, and when we're going to be meeting. So, such a pleasure.
Amazing. Thank you.
Let's stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe because we got a lot more fun, interactive, resourceful, informational episodes coming your way.
Awesome.
All right. And then what do you want to read?
This one. Do you want me to just read it?
I mean, yeah, you can read it. I can read it. Like, due to legal purposes, like, just I would say some.
Don't get mad at us. Yes, basically.
Do you want to read it? Or you want me to read it?
I'll read it. Okay. This show reflects the views and opinions of us and us alone. We try to maintain a level of factual integrity, but if we get it wrong, let us know in the comments and we will correct ourselves.
So I did the sign language part.
That's up. Yeah. That's all the rage now.
All right, perfect.